In this video, I will show you two teams to beat this stock. So I'm going to show a team with Chord and another team which is free to play without Chord. This is so that if you don't have Chord, you can actually still follow along. And also doing two teams, one with Chord, one without, can actually let us see the difference between Chord and no Chord. But anyways, we talk about the dog. There's the element here. More elements, the more damage the dog will take, to 40% or 4 elements. And then assassin, damage increase, so this for queen, and nuclear damage for queen also. So the dog's gimmick, very simple. It will summon 4 souls, and when you kill the souls, it will inflict the elements to the dog. The 4 souls will have 4 different elements. Then once the dog has 4 souls, it will remove some of the resistances. So you can start doing some damage to the dog. But let's look at the team. So the first team with Chord. So Chord is a very strong character. So many people around you, including content creators, always talk about how strong Chord is, and she is indeed super strong. She's a character that will kinda break your account in a good way because of the amount of things that she can achieve. You can get a lot of extra points using Chord, as you can see from the point differences later on between Chord and no Chord. But let's first talk about the DPS. Shout out to Kita for the borrow, because I don't have Queen, sadly. But anyways, Queen is of course our main DPS, with all the skills being useful. Skill 1 to inflict elements and to help take care of the souls also, because it's AoE. Skill 2 can buff herself and heal. Skill 3 and the highlight for the big damage. Then for the cards will be the best set for her. Truth and Awareness. This is for increased damage, and also the more elements the opponents have, the more damage she will do. Then she has the 5-star weapon for even more damage. Then the stat screen. I'll just scroll this and to let you see. Now let's talk about Vino. I'll talk quite a bit later on. So Vino is of course going to be our debuffer. Skill 1, Skill 3, and also our element inflictor with skill 1 and also her highlight. She will, and also skill 2 to AoE inflict element, skill 2 for the souls. And she does scale, and her skill 1, skill 3 does scale on element accuracy. So you do ideally want to get to like 160% or something like that to fully activate her skills, which I don't have because my Vino is not well built yet, because I don't have the required cards. So the set for her, Harmony and Truth. This will increase the nuclear damage for your party. So Queen will do more damage based on the number of elements. Then I have a 4-star weapon here, which can debuff with more defense. Then we have the stat screen here. Now our navigator is Okian. She is there for the damage buff of course, and also skill 1 can also help element accuracy, which can help buff Vino, because again she scales on element accuracy. Then the revelation card, we have the power and trust set for more attack. Then the weapon, 4-star weapon for also more attack, and also the stat screen here. Now we talk about Chord. Why is Chord so good? It's really simple really. A big reason is her skill 3. But before that, let's talk about the other skills. So skill 1 can help you inflict the shock. This is the buff to global. The Chinese version, the Asian version doesn't have the shock effect. The reason why shock is good is because it increases the crit damage they take, which is a direct buff to our DPS. When an ally has cold star, which is basically the skill 2, she will do extra damage. Then skill 2, you give someone cold star, which is basically just an attack buff for 3 turns. And skill 3 is the broken one. You immediately activate a highlight, anybody's highlight except for her own, and increase the damage of that highlight. The main reason why she's so good. And the catch of this catchy hook is that the cooldown actually increases the more times you use skill 3. So at first it's going to be 1 cooldown, then it's going to be 2 cooldown, then it's going to be 3 cooldown, which is a max. But if you have him at her at A6, it's going to be always at 1 cooldown. So you can actually use skill 3 every other turn, which is insane. And her highlight is also really good. So for 4 ally actions, your party's damage will increase. And not just that, your highlight gauge will also increase by 10% for each ally action, up to 40%. So this is basically just free damage buff. The only downside is that it only lasts for 1 turn. 4 ally action is pretty much 1 turn, but 44.2% is quite a big number. And if you time it alright, you can use highlight and skill 3 on the same turn, which is what I will do in this fight. And this will enable huge damage from Queen. Okay, then we look at the cards. The cards, there are 2 good sets for her. The first one is the prosperity set, this one. I'm not using it because the first 4 turns of the fight doesn't really matter. The entire rotation for this fight for me is 6 turns. First 4 turns doesn't really matter, so there's no need for prosperity set. The other good set that is not recommended here is actually the departure and control, the one I'm using here. Why? Because her skill 1 goes above, right? Which is you can inflict shock. She kind of uses for Queen also because it's an element. Then using her skill 1 will also activate the departure and control, which is the defense debuff. Now for weapon, I do have her 5-star weapon. But her 5-star weapon doesn't matter here because again, same reason why prosperity set is not needed here, because the highlight for the first few turns doesn't really matter. You don't need to highlight early or anything. So you can still follow this rotation without the 5-star weapon. But her 5-star weapon is really good. The main thing is a 40% highlight gauge at the start of battle. With prosperity set is 65. Because prosperity is 25, this is 40, which is insane. Because you can highlight on the first turn after a few ally actions. And then also, when every time an ally uses a highlight, we increase the core star's attack by 5%, which is the skill 2. So extra buff on top of the 30% attack buff here. So the 5-star weapon Very, very good. And then here is the stat screen. Now for Wander's weapon, we use our arc knife because we will attack and we need to debuff defense. As for Persona, we have Bishop Mountain. It's good for Queen because not only is he nuclear, he also has a passive where when you attack someone that has ailment, it will increase the damage of that enemy up to 3 stacks. So this will increase the damage from Queen. And then Yanosing for Rakunda, and also apply the mark for big damage. Then Yolanga is you have to give him the Rebellion here to buff Queen. And since we have Chord who can shock also, and even Vino can also shock with the skill 1 and highlight. You don't need to worry about using Zeodyne. And the passive is good because it increases the crit damage that the opponents will take. And if it's shocked, it will increase even more. Yolanga is pretty good. As for the turn order, you want to be one... Hold on, I need to explain something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually, you want Chord to be moving right before your DPS. The reason is because of a skill 3. Let's say if Wander moves after Chord. Imagine this. Imagine Chord uses skill 3 here to activate Makoto's highlight. It will do damage, sure, but you will be lacking the buff from Wander, right? Let's say I have to use Rebellion on Wander. If I use it after Chord moves, then that means Queen's damage will be lesser because the highlight from Chord's skill 3 will not have the Rebellion buff. So instead, we swap this, then Wander can Rebellion Queen, then Chord can skill 3, which will do the damage with the Rebellion buff. So that's why usually you want Chord to move right before the Queen or your DPS. We know and Wander doesn't really matter, but I think 1 and 2 is better, especially for the fight without Chord. We do need Wander to be the second to move, but we can begin now. Okay, now Vino is going to guard. Wander will also guard. Don't need to attack it. Chord also guard. And Queen will use skill 1. We guard to tank the dog. Then skill 1 with Queen to inflict the elements. And the dog will summon. Then we use Okian skill 1. This is to increase the element accuracy, so that Vino can hopefully land all the elements with skill 2 on all the souls. Because you want to kill the souls this turn. Then skill 2. Oh, we got almost all of them. That's fine. Wander, we're going to guard. Chord with skill 3, Makoto. Then we target the dog. Hopefully this doesn't do too much. Okay, that's okay damage. I don't need to kill. Now we skill 1 to kill all the souls hopefully, including the yellow one please. Oh, the yellow one didn't die. Sadly. That's fine. Now just to tank. Now Vino, we don't use Okian skill because we don't want to do too much damage. Now we Rebellion on Queen. Then we can start setting up. Chord will guard here. Queen will skill 2. This will buff herself, and then we can just heal whoever has the lowest HP. Just to tank. Now we just need to... Okay, now we kill the dog. So the dog has super low HP. So we're gonna highlight with Vino first, because we don't want to kill the dog yet. This will inflict the elements. We don't want to die. So let me check first. It has 3 elements. So here you can actually use Okian skill 3. If your team is not strong, since the dog is gonna die, I don't want to kill it now. I want to kill it on Queen's turn. So I'll use skill 1 first, then next turn I'll use the Okian skill. Then I'll use it here. So that means later on the last turn, my skill 3 is going to be delayed by 1 action, which is fine also. Because what matters is Queen's damage. And Queen is last to move, so it's fine. Okay, now Wander is going to Rakunda. So this is sadly luck based because we have this thing. So we need to pray that the mark is inflicted on the dog. Oh, we got it. Very nice. Very, very good. Now I skill 1 with Chord. Make sure you target the dog because of the debuff, the card set, departure and control set. For the shock also, really good. Very, very good actually. And now with skill 3, the dog to kill. This will bring us to the weakened turn, weakened state. Then we can start to get the extra points here. Now it's skill 3 with Vino. So if your team is too strong, you might want to consider guarding in one of the actions actually. Now we're gonna use Bisha Mountain, Imperial Purge, to bit damage and also increase the nuclear damage it will take. I will not use the highlight yet instead of skill 2 because I haven't used the skill 2 a single time to buff Queen. And then I use Chord's highlight here. We activate Crash Out, there is Chord's highlight. So you have to use Chord's highlight on this exact action. And the reason is because if you use it too late, then you won't be able to use highlight on Queen's turn, next turn. If you use it too early, then the buff from the highlight will be wore off. Because Chord's highlight buff lasts for 4 ally actions. Because if you use it one turn early, then one turn early is going to be 1, Queen is going to be 2, 3, and 4. That's bad, because on Chord's turn, we're going to use skill 3 to trigger the highlight. So you want to have Chord's own highlight to be present on her own turn. So that's why you use on this turn, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So exactly on the 4th ally action. So Chord will still have her own highlight buff. That's why we use it on this exact turn. And just nice, on Queen's turn, next turn, you can still use a highlight. Because her highlight also charges 10% for every ally action. So 40% total. So Queen can now skill 3 to do big damage. Okay, very good. Okay, thankfully it has Shock, that's very good. So you can see that it has a bunch of debuffs. So we have Mark, we have Rakunda, we have this is from Bisha Mountain, this is from the, 23% is from the card set, then Power Creation is from the Dagger, the Arc Knife. It has a bunch of debuffs. Now skill 1, debuff. Then here we use skill 1. Because I used skill 3 earlier, so that means my Okean is gonna move a bit later. If you use it earlier, then you will use it one action earlier. But it shouldn't affect too much. Okay, maybe it will affect a little bit, because Vino won't get a skill 1 buff from Okean. But it's fine. Now we switch to Yuranga with Rebellion Queen. Switching to Yuranga will activate his own passive, the taking more crit damage. Now Chord, skill 3 Queen, to activate the highlight. So do pretty good damage. Very good damage. Then we can, now it's Queen's turn. Just nice, we got a highlight. With Queen highlight. Good damage. Okay, we skill 3. And let's see how much this does. And let's see how much we get for the points. Okay, 3 million, that's pretty good. And now for a team without Chord. So I'll be replacing Chord with Soy, which is also a really good option here. You can still score pretty good points. I won't be explaining everything about the team again, because everything is pretty much the same, exactly the same except for the team member. So I'll just quickly talk about Soy. So Soy is very good for the debuff and gun, skill 2 and gun. Then he can also help sustain a bit for the fight, because we do need to tank for the first 4 turns. So skill 3 and highlight is useful here. And the Ravager set, the same as Chord actually, control and departure for the defense debuff. Then I have his 4-star weapon to tank more. Then this is the stat screen. Wonder does need to be the second to move here, because on one of the turns I will actually be switching persona to use the highlight. And of course Queen is going to be last to move. Nothing much to say because everything else is the same. So we can begin. So the rotation compared to the Chord one is going to be quite different, because we don't have Chord to use skill 3 to do big damage to the dog. So it's skill 1 here. So we can't really card here, but it's fine because Soy can help us sustain a bit. Which I wanted, we use the signature move in Pure Purge. Then Soy can skill 3 to tank, give some sustain, increase the max HP. Then Queen can just skill 3. In the previous rotation was skill 1, but we don't really need to inflict the ailments using Queen. Okay, Okean is going to use skill 1. Same reason as the last rotation. To increase the ailment accuracy, hopefully Vino can inflict the ailments on all of them. He's going to skill 2 Vino. Oh, all of them, very nice. Then Wonder gonna use Zero Time. You can just tag the the souls. You can start doing this one more. Doesn't really matter. Okay. And then you actually want to kill the ice one with Queen. So that because on Sorcerer we're gonna use his highlight. He is to give a bit of tankiness and just attack the white one. White one, yellow one. And so you can just use skill 1 on the dog, doesn't really matter. Then Queen, the skill 1. And this should definitely kill all the souls. There's no way you won't kill this. We are fine. And with Vino, again, no need to Okian. Vino skill 3. Because again, we don't want to do too much damage. And we also want to delay the rotation a bit. Then we can Wonder Rokunda. This will also inflict the mark. Then Gun. Use everything to debuff. Then let's do some damage also. But that's not the important part. Then Queen will skill 2. Heal the lowest HP. And this will buff herself. No attack. And on this turn, we kill the dog. Make sure you kill it on Queen's turn. So what I'll do is I'll highlight first. Then I'll use Okian skill 3 because I don't want to highlight to do too much damage. Then I use skill 3. Then we use Vino's skill 1 to inflict even more ailments. Then Wonder. We'll use Bishop Mountain, signature move, to debuff. Then Soy will use skill 2 to debuff. This debuff will last until the end. The 60 something %, which is really good. Then with skill 3, this should kill. This must kill. Which should be no problem, I think. Then we will break. Then Vino will skill 3, debuff. So Wonder has to be the second to move in the order, so that we can change to the longer and use the highlight to debuff. Then the longer also Rebellion Queen. Then so skill 1, don't use skill 2 here because we already debuff. We don't want to override the weaker debuff over the stronger one. Then Queen crash out. Skill 3, do good damage. Okay, you'll realize that this actually does more damage than the Chord one. But the main reason is because Soy can debuff defense. But the point should be lower because we cannot use another highlight. That's the big difference between Chord and Soy. Or I guess Chord and Chordless. Skill 1. Skill 3 and skill 1 is active here. Then Vino skill 1. Inflict more ailments. The dog should have all the ailments, 40%. Then we will use Yodain here. Sadly, I have to use Yodain because I want to keep Ilanga's persona to activate his passive. Again, skill 1. Just attack. Then on Queen's turn, we can highlight. You'll notice that this should do also more damage. Yeah. I think the Chord one has around, I think about 300k, this one 310k. But still, one less highlight means that, you know, that's a big difference. And see the points. 28.3 million. So it's about 5 million difference, which is quite significant.